You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello there, and welcome back to the Disconnected. Been a while since a new interview has been done, but I'm excited to be here with a friend of mine, Mr. Travis Foley, to speak to you about a new endeavor that hopefully a lot of you will be hearing about in the near future. Travis, thanks for coming on the show.
Hola, thank you. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
We're going to be spending a lot of time talking about Odyssey today. We're going to hear about that in just a few minutes, but first of all, tell the people about yourself. Who are you, and what is going on in your life?
So my name is Travis Foley. Originally from Long Island, New York. I moved to Richmond, Virginia about 2.5 years ago. And I've been in love with movies really for the past few years. I really got into it. Growing up, people of our generation, our age, I think movies were a lot bigger thing. I went to the movie theater all the time with my mom and my dad. And in my teens, I remember even sneaking into movie theaters with friends when we didn't have money. I had a real reclusive period in my teens, and I would just rent a ton of movies from the library. Nice. I've always collected CDs growing up, action figures, things like that. And I just kind of moved a lot, and I always kind of just shed everything I had, and I kind of fell out of it and got into this place where, more of a minimalist mindset. But as I've kind of gotten more grounded, and really the pandemic, that got me back into collecting. I was going to thrift stores, but I wasn't working, still getting those checks though. And I was just collecting just mass amounts of DVDs, anything I thought that looked interesting. And, it just got to a point where I was surrounded by this stuff, and I was like, I don't know that I'm ever going to watch these. So once again, I shed that, and I moved out here. I don't know. I gradually got more selective about what I was getting. And, I guess listening to podcasts at work, really got me back into it, and really interested in movies. There's a podcast, Blank Check. They discuss filmographies of all different directors. Yeah. And it got me really interested in film in a way that I hadn't been before. And then I was, buying more, and came across your podcast one day, and
it all went downhill.
It's been incredible for me. You have no idea what it does for me. I work a 4-hour-long podcast. Seriously, it's when I realize I'm only halfway through, it's great. It gets me through the day, and just getting into the Discord and stuff. You've made the space really accessible, and I've learned so much through the podcast, and through the Discord. It's my second. That's my social life, really, outside of my real life.
We're here to sort of advertise for you, and I love that I just got the plug there. But I'll throw it out there. If anybody loves the sound of that, check out the link for the Patreon, the description below. People like Travis are going to be covering a lot of really cool things in the Discord over the future months. We got people from multiple labels in there. We've got people that are working at physical media retail stores, people that are doing special features, people that run other film podcasts. There's so much just enrichment in the discussion in there that I adore. So today we're talking about Odyssey movies. So after collecting for multiple generations of physical media for yourself, how did we land on Odyssey movies? And first of all, what is it? Let's get into what it's going to be.
So Odyssey Movies is a boutique Blu-ray store, in other movie formats. It's launching, as this episode releases today, Mother's Day, online, odysseymovies.com. How I got here, I've always wanted to. I grew up on music before movies, and always had this dream of starting a record label. And they
same.
I would write down what bands do I know that I could get to maybe get involved and like curate like a record label on paper. But never really had the means of doing it. It was these fleeting kind of like fantasies, and I've always wanted to have my own business and just be surrounded by like the stuff that I'm interested in. I spend so much time,
Right.
at work. I do blue collar work. I've been doing that for the last 10 plus years, and I've just been in a really good place in my life the past like 2.5 years, and I've been talking about starting a movie store, and the lack thereof in the community, like where I'm in Richmond, and many places there aren't movie stores anymore. Best Buy got rid of everything, Target's getting rid of everything, and even then, that wasn't it wasn't really like a cinephile kind of like experience.
Right, it wasn't curated either in any way.
Exactly. Like Bordered Books back in the day was something that was closer to that. I mean, I spent hours at Border Books. But so, yeah, like, I mean, there's a few places out here that sell like other forms of media, video games, whatever. I'll pop in there for 15, 20 minutes, look at everything they got. And it's, they're not on the pulse of what's going on with boutique like media. Right. I became like kind of convicted to have this conviction to do it myself. And I would talk about it, and I never knew when I'd be able to. And I was talking to a friend who has a business, and, I had some money, and he, I was like, I need maybe to get some credit and everything. He's like, just file an LLC, they'll start getting offers. Sure enough, I did. And I think before I even got the offers, I reached out to my first label. I just really just like got the ball rolling, and I never looked back. Like I was talking to someone earlier this year about it, and then February I incorporated, and then like I built an office and just kept reaching out to people. I reached out to you for some insight. But the first label I spoke to was TerraVision, and they have been awesome. They're probably my favorite people to work with at this point. Just real grassroots kind of vibes, very punk like in their ethos. So approachable too. Like I was a subscriber, and as a subscriber, you get like discount prices, and you get a portal to that. And I just reached out, and I was like, is this like, because they call it wholesale? I'm like, is this wholesale in the literal sense, or is that just how y'all are calling it? I'm like looking to start a business, and they were just so friendly and accommodating, and gave me like a form for their distro. And what I really like about them too is a lot of distributors sell to like the big box like warehouses and stuff like that, and those guys they don't obviously care about what they're selling, but they'll buy it and mark it up $1 or $2 over, wholesale prices. And, it's difficult to compete with that.
Of course.
And sometimes, as you know, like Amazon will sell things for less than wholesale because that's just the way business is these days. Yeah. But so, it's been a learning experience. But it's been a blast getting in touch with some of these people. It's been real difficult to reach some of them. There's some I'm still struggling with, but I'm finding just perseverance and persistence, and sometimes a little creativity has opened some doors. And it's all part of it, I think, and it's been a joy to do it.
As somebody that has implemented just basically like random hair ideas that I've gotten over the last handful of years and turned it into something that people count on, it has been genuinely inspiring to see something that you just like flippantly messaged me about in February to be like, oh no, we're now opening next month. Let's get that interview that we were talking about doing. And it's so crazy to think that this was we're going to incorporate, and in 90 days, this is going to be a real thing that people are going to be purchasing items from. You've done incredible in such a short period of time. Thank
you very much. I mean, I'm surprised myself. But I'm on a mission to do this, and really a couple things. My initial desire is to open a physical brick and mortar location somewhere.
Right.
This was just the first logical step, in order to get there. And I fully intend to do that. But secondly, I was going to say, you're talking about how it's inspiring to you. I mean, wholeheartedly, if it were not for your podcast, I don't think I'd be doing this. The amount of things that, because you've made yourself very accessible. You're a very approachable person in this space. And I've become well aware of the things that you've accomplished and that you're doing, and you're working a full-time job. You got 2 kids, and you got the magazine, you got the podcast, you got the network. You're doing commentaries, and I know that you got there just out of, well, maybe not just, but out of a passion for this medium. And it's truly been an inspiration.
I'm glad it's reciprocal then. Let's go through some step-by-step things. First, the name, Odyssey. Why that name? Is that important to you?
It's becoming more important. I felt like it was like really easy to go with something like really kitschy or like a movie riff, like something from Terminator, like tech noir, or and there's I know there is like a Videodrome and all that, and that stuff's cool, but I didn't want to be too specific. I also didn't want to have anything with too hard an edge, like something like maybe more punk leaning that could be perceived. I want this to be like welcoming to all people. I want people who, of all generations to be, to feel like this is somewhere that they can come and look at movies and maybe rediscover their interest in movies. So I don't know, Odyssey just kind of came to me, and I feel like movies are an odyssey, and not to be corny, but I look at all my movies I have here, and when I look at them, I just like they're just worlds in all these discs that I can go explore.
It's easy to spell. It's catchy. It's fine. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So you mentioned TerraVision. Who else can people count on finding at Odyssey?
So TerraVision, Deaf Crocodile, of course. Let me take a look. Arrow, Eureka, Oscilloscope, Indicator, Severin. I've got some others. More, the store will continue to grow and more items will be added all the time. But, I feel good about it. I've got some, Vinegar Syndrome and partner labels.
How about imports? Are people to expect imports yet?
I've got some imports. That has been a struggle for me. And I know that is crucial for this kind of business. Because those are things you just can't get everywhere. I do have some imports. I have spoken to some of the labels directly. I don't know currently. I'm not too proud to be transparent about the fact that I don't know how some of them are doing it. I will get there. If anybody listening has any advice or knows of any direction I could go in with that'd be great. I'm confident though that I will get more as time goes on, and I have an established presence.
Well, and you'll have more buying power once people are starting to get stuff from you. And one of the things that we got to talk about, there's I don't know the number offhand, but with the opening of your store, we're up to like 7 or 8 sites in the U.S. that distribute at least like 5 to 7 domestic labels. So there's a lot of choices. So the big thing, what is the draw to Odyssey? What is the reason people would choose Odyssey over some of the others?
Absolutely. Well, being new and having a bit of a limited inventory at the moment, while I do have, I think, a pretty, solid selection, I'm not going to be able to compete initially with like Orbit and Diabolic and those guys. They've been doing this for 20 plus years. They're established. They've made some money and they've got connections with distributors and labels. But what I do have is, a rewards program that I don't see many of the indie guys doing. I like rewards programs, Criterion. I've made a lot of money and sent it back to them. But the way that's going to work is, so for every $130 spent, you'll get a $5 credit. Those credits don't expire. You can accumulate those, use them toward, whatever you want, new movies, used movies, pre-orders. They're good for everything in the store. And so it's basically $1 a point. So $130, 130 points, $5 credit. But now, as we launch, if you just sign up for the rewards, you'll automatically have 80 points. So you just need to spend $50 to get your first $5 credit. Additionally, for the first month that we're open, site-wide, it's 10% off. You don't have to enter a code or anything. You'll see the markdown on everything. Got a $5 flat rate media mail shipping option. If you want to do media mail, and of course, if you have a different preference, then you can pay the difference for your preferred method of shipping. And I am doing the 3 for free. So if you order 3 of any item, it's free shipping.
Nice.
Might be, it's again a little more limited selection at the moment. But there might be 3 titles that you've been putting off getting that you can pull the trigger on now, and you'll get the credit.
Yeah.
And we'll always be getting more stuff. So I'm trying to make it approachable for everybody to get a deal.
Yeah, and I mean, you're clearly covering pretty much every base that you possibly can there. Especially in this first month, there's no reason not to at least go after those free points and the 10% discount. That's a huge savings.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll just reiterate: you don't have to necessarily sign up now and spend now, but if you just sign up for the rewards program now, you'll have that locked in for just to spend $50. You could do that in a month. You could do it in 2 months.
Very nice.
Now, but that's there. Yeah.
I get it. So with Odyssey, the plan for this, any things that you have in the works for next steps, once this start to do well, things that you want to put into place pretty quickly?
I'm really just looking to just keep expanding our selection, and I'm hopeful that we'll nail down some more labels and distributors. Some other merchandise, movie related merchandise that we're going to do from some of the labels, and hopefully some custom stuff, maybe some custom artwork as well. No, the plan is to get this thing rolling, and get that physical location, in the next couple of years. It'd be really cool to do collaborations maybe with labels, some of the smaller guys. I'm really interested in, there's 3 new labels that I know that just popped up. So I'm always keeping an eye out for that stuff. I'd like to get those things in the store and maybe do some kind of collaboration with some of those guys and gals.
Perfect. Can't wait to see how people respond to this. It's always fun to see this happen because it means a handful of things. It means the industry is doing well and people are buying in a way that somebody thinks that they can support it. The other thing is competition is always good for stuff like this. It helps the consumers more choices. You'll be able to compare prices across different stores. It'll help, breed some sort of friendly competition if it starts to do well. So places like Orbit can pay attention and say, well, yeah, we got to still keep up with Odyssey because they're crushing it now. So that's a good thing. I'm glad this is happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've got nothing but respect for all those guys. I buy, and probably still will buy from all of them, Orbit and Diabolic.
You mentioned in that last portion, used movies. How is that going to go down and what can people expect to see there?
So I have a collection of things. I'm always, updating my own inventory and getting rid of things. I have some people who've also expressed getting rid of some things from their collection. As far as buying used from people, that's certainly something I'm interested in doing. Right now, it's right in the very beginning. It's not going to be the best time for me to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to have a buyback or whatever you want to call it kind of program. I know Orbit does that too.
Yeah, if people wanted after a while to reach out to do that, I'm sure there'll be a contact button on the website, and you're going to be approachable. You'll be on social media, keeping up with that, sharing pictures of new stock and stuff. I'm sure it's going to be a good time.
Yes. I've got a collection of VHS tapes that'll be on there, a small collection. I don't know if that'll be up at today, the launch, but expect that soon. And that's something I'm looking to expand on too.
One thing that I know that collectors and film lovers alike are going to really care about, because some of these are expensive. How are you planning on shipping all of these things?
That's not to be worried about. I mean, I buy from all these guys. Everything's protected, bubble wrap, filled with brown paper and all that.
All boxes, no flimsy Amazon bubble mailers.
Never. that is something I wanted to emphasize at some point too, and I forgot. But it's like, it's just.
I mean, when you are getting into the space because you're a collector, that's one of the first things that you go, I have to do this the right way.
Yeah.
All right, then. I think that covers everything that we need to for Odyssey. So Odyssey Movie Store, the website, odysseymovies.com, launches today, Mother's Day 2025. Should be available all, for the foreseeable future. You've got the 10% off for the first 30 days. You've got sign up for the rewards program. You get 80 points. You're more than halfway there to a $5 certificate already. Free shipping if you get 3 items, and I think those are the big things that people are going to worry about right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Incredible. Travis, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for being confident enough to get a store going in literally like less than 120 days. That's incredible. And just congrats again. This got to feel huge for you.
It does. I'm so excited. And thank you very much for having me here, Ryan.
Happily. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Disconnected Podcast. There's one big thing that you could do to help the show, and that is to leave a rating and review on the podcast service of your choice. Thank you.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description